Bonjour tout le monde. Today we are going to be looking at the 80 to 90 word written task. This is the first task that you will encounter on your writing paper, and you should aim to spend about 20 minutes on this question. You will have a choice between two tasks for this video, and we will be looking at a question in this video relating to thematic context 3, my neighbourhood. It's worth noting that in all of the tasks, you'll be asked to write to a friend, but don't focus on this particular detail. Your focus should be on the subject that you're being asked to talk about. So in this case, my town and shopping, but in other cases, possibly holidays or school. The focus here really should be on choosing a question that relates to a topic you are comfortable and happy and confident talking about. The 80 to 90 word task always follows the same format. So there will be 4 clear bullet points with a requirement to use the past and the future form in one of them. So 2 present tense bullet points, a past bullet point and a future bullet point. Again, it's worth noting here that although you are encouraged to use the future tense and form this in whichever way you like, you don't have to use the simple or near future tense. You can make reference to the future by using some of the cheats phrases we've seen in our booklet. For example, I intend to or I hope to, followed by an infinitive. The choice is very much yours. The focus here should be on accurately and clearly making reference to the past and the future to maximise marks. In terms of marks then, this task is scored out of 18. Up to 13 marks will be awarded for content, and there will be 5 marks available for language. Let's take a little look at this grid just to get an idea of the types of things you are being asked to do to get full marks in this task. Okay, let's look up here to start with. An examiner will always allocate you your content marks by looking at this grid. To get between 11 and 13 marks, you must address all 4 bullet points. Now, as I mentioned before, this will mean accurately referring to the past and future tense in order to have covered those 2 bullet points. You will also need to develop your ideas, and you will need to make sure that your response is clear. So here it says comprehensible. Occasionally a message may break down, but an examiner will be looking for a clear and understandable response. As we move down the mark scheme, we can see that each time a bullet point is not covered, you are knocked down a grade boundary. So it's really, really vital that you plan your work carefully to cover all of those bullet points in the task. Once you've been allocated your score of up to 13 for content, there are then 5 marks available for language up for grabs. To maximise marks for this, you need to be using a variety of relevant vocab and structures. Some of your sentences need to be extended. We would hope at AHS that you've done enough practice that all of your sentences will be extended. We know that all of you are brilliant at doing that and have been doing that since year 7. You need to be generally successful at using 3 time frames. And you need to generally accurately use language. So that refers to your spelling there, and this refers to your grammar. Again, we are aiming for always, but do not be afraid of using a sentence for fear of losing marks. Look here, generally successful is what they're aiming for full marks. So always best to try and develop an idea where possible. Okay, with all of that in mind, I've created here for you a checklist to consider as you're planning and at the end of your task, checking your work. So have I planned and structured my response? Before you even get going, it's well worth looking at the bullet points and making sure you have enough to say about each bullet point. If you miss a bullet point, you're severely impacting your content grade, so it's really worthwhile taking the time to plan. Have I fully covered each bullet point by giving, and I'm suggesting here, 3 bits of information for each bullet point? There is a big focus on development of ideas and use of varied language. So by including 3 bits of information in each bullet point, you're ensuring that you hit the mark on that. Have I given and explained at least 2 opinions? Again, for you guys, this is going to be a walk in the park. We've been doing this since year 7, 8, 9. We know how to develop our opinions. If we can give an opinion, we can give an opinion starter. If we can give an adjective, we can give an intensifier. If we can give an intensifier and an adjective, we can use a ça me phrase, and the list goes on. This should be well within your wheelhouse. Have I used a variety of vocabulary, structures and connectives? This obviously is key to ensure that we've covered all 4 bullet points. Have I accurately used the past and future tenses? And finally, as we should always be doing, have I checked my work for spelling, word order and verb endings? This feeds very much into that 5 marks available for language. Let's look then at an example task. You have an end of unit writing assessment coming up. It will be your first go at an 80 to 90 word task, and this here is going to be exceptionally good practice for you in preparing for that assessment. As we know, we're always writing to a friend. We discussed that earlier, so you're writing to a friend about shopping. You must include the following points. Your task will always be written in English. It's a huge improvement on the old spec. So you should really quickly be able to tell whether this is something that you are comfortable writing about. In our case, this is the topic we've just been studying in lessons, so all of this language is nice and fresh. So you must include the following points. Types of shops in your area, your opinion of one of these shops with reasons, something you've bought recently, and where you will go for your next shopping trip. So we can see here our past and future bullet points included there in 3 and 4. All right, types of shops in your area. Let's look at my example here. I've got B1, bullet point 1. This is the answer I've come up with for this. Il y a beaucoup de magasins dans ma ville. Par exemple, une pâtisserie et un centre commercial. Il y a aussi une grande piscine où j'adore nager avec mon frère. You can pause the video here and try and translate this yourselves. You should be familiar with lots of this language now. It's all come from the Edexcel vocabulary list and the stuff we've been learning this half term. There are lots of shops in my town. For example, a cake shop and a shopping centre. There is also a big swimming pool where I love to swim with my brother. So thinking about our checklist, have I covered that bullet point? Types of shops in my area. Absolutely, I've said there's lots of them. I've said the cake shop, the shopping centre are there. Did I need to mention the swimming pool? Not necessarily. It's not a shop, but it adds some detail. Have I developed my answer with at least 3 bits of information? Yes, I have. I've said it's big, I've said I love to swim, and I've said I go there with my brother. Have I given an opinion? Yep, I've got I love in there, haven't I? So bullet point 1 covered. Bullet point 2, your opinion of one shop with reasons. Okay, let's have a look then. Bullet point 2. À mon avis, je préfère le centre commercial parce que j'adore acheter des vêtements. C'est amusant. Je vais souvent avec ma famille pour faire les magasins. Again, if you want to pause the video here and practice your translation skills, you can. If not, we're going to carry on together. In my opinion, I prefer the shopping centre because I love to buy clothes. It's fun. I often go with my family to do shopping. Have I covered the bullet point? Yes, I've mentioned one particular type of shop, which is the big shopping centre. Have I given at least 2 opinions? I've said it's fun. I've said I love going shopping. I've said I prefer to go there too. Have I explained and given 3 bits of information? I have. I've said that I go with my family. I've said I buy clothes. I've said it's because I love to go shopping. So there's lots in there developing my work. Have I used connectives? I've got a because in there, haven't I? This could always be improved on. We've got much more complicated opinion starters we can use than this. We've got a wide range of conjunctions. We've got loads of different things that you could have done. I'm showing you just one example, something to build from. But we've covered bullet point 2. Bullet point 3, what have you bought recently? Here we are. Récemment, c'était l'anniversaire de ma mère. Donc, je suis allée au magasin et j'ai acheté du maquillage pour elle. Recently, it was my mum's birthday, so I went to the shop and I bought some makeup for her. Have I accurately referred to the past tense? Absolutely, I have. That was the absolutely most important thing to get right in this bullet point. J'ai acheté and je suis allé, both included in there. So I've made sure the examiner knows I can form the past tense. Have I included 3 bits of information? Oh, I've got a c'était in there as well. That's a past tense. Have I included 3 bits of information? Yes, I've got a time phrase recently. I've told you it was my mum's birthday. I've said where I went and I've said what I bought. Lots of good information in there. And finally, bullet point 4, where you will go for your next shopping trip. So this is the one that's asking me to make reference to the future. So I'm going to start strong on that one with a time phrase. Le week-end prochain, j'ai l'intention d'acheter un nouveau t-shirt au centre commercial. Next weekend, I intend to buy a new t-shirt at the shopping centre. And we can see here, I've not used the near or the simple future. I've actually referred to the future using one of the cheats phrases. I intend to buy, so I intend followed by an infinitive, but it still works. I've got my future time phrase. Have I included extra details? Yes, I've said it's a new t-shirt. I've said where I want to go. I've said when I'm going to go there. I've made clear reference to the future. And I could have gone even further, couldn't I? I could have developed using an opinion there again. I could have said, however, I didn't buy and included a negative. There are so many things that so many of you will want to flex your muscles and try. But this is showing you what you can achieve in just 94 words of an 80 to 90 word task. The exam board have told us that this would be a full mark answer, and we can see here all of those skills from that checklist included. So with your assessment coming up, your end of unit assessment coming up, why not give this a go yourself? Whether you use this example as a starting point or whether you plan yourself from scratch, have your checklist in mind, be accurate in your use of tenses, and make sure you plan to ensure maximum coverage of content. I'm sure you will find this no great challenge. You are all very well prepared. Good luck. Au revoir.